Let me just, first of all, the two cards that really stuck out here. The first card out of the spread, we have here the High Priestess. And the High Priestess usually denotes our intuition kicking in overdrive. Okay. So this is heavily about trusting your intuition, information that comes through from a sense of knowing. Okay. But the way that this card fell out, it's right on top of the Six of Cups, which denotes to me children. What I'm feeling with this energy overall is I feel like for those of you who are in a capacity where you are dealing with children, where you're watching over them, you're taking care of them, I feel almost like you're learning a lot more about yourself through the interaction with the children or the younger people in your life. And I feel for many of you, the High Priestess, she's not like, she's a very, very wise woman, okay? She's been through a lot. It's almost like the Queen of Swords. She's been through a lot, and she has a very loving but very, very detached air about her. Okay, this is somebody who's not warm and cuddly. It's somebody you come to for advice if you're looking for the honest truth and you're looking for, spiritual guidance, but it's not somebody that you can come to and just vent to, because she is the person that, gives insights, gives wisdom. She's not somebody that you can cry your eyes out to, and she's not the one that will just listen when you want to vent, okay? And the energy that I'm picking up from this spread is, I definitely feel for many of you, there's a sense of like learning to lovingly detach from a person that you care greatly about. It could be emotionally detached from the children. If you feel like, you want them to be self-sufficient, you want them to be capable, you want them to just be independent, you kind of have to release control a little bit, and you kind of have to let them make their own mistakes, and you kind of have to let them live their life, okay? I feel like for many of you, you're coming into this sense of awareness where in the past, you might have held on to something really, really, it's like hanging on to dear life in a situation, wanting a specific outcome. And so you might have tried to actively control the situation. And this is a month where you start to release control, where you start to realize that, everybody has their own way that they want to live. And it's not our place to kind of like, interfere with that process. So on the one hand, they might come to you for advice, and you might have a specific course of action that you want them to take, and you want to make it clear that, this is where you should go. But I feel like you're learning loving detachment, where if they're coming to you asking for answers, asking for advice as to what they want to do, you're going to be very impartial in letting them know all the possibilities, all the different routes that they could take, and only hope that they would do what's best for them. So what you want, I feel like you're putting that on the back burner. What you want for the other person to do, you're putting that on the back burner because you want them to live out their destiny. And at the same time, you want them to learn. So you're taking a little bit more of a hands-off approach. I'm going to show you all the possible paths that you can take, but ultimately that decision is yours. So I see you taking a step back, exercising loving detachment with another person that you really care about. This could be children. This could be somebody in your life that you are, really, really, truly in love with. But you know that you cannot interfere with their life path, with their life destiny. Just like that twirl in each individual's fingertips, everybody has their own unique path in this lifetime, okay? No two paths are the same, and that's why fingerprints are all very, very different from one person to the next, okay? It's like the little nuances in the lines, in the twirls, in the little crevices in our hands. Everything is unique. Everything, it seems like there's, grand design in place, but the overarching message is that everyone has to, live out their true destiny, their true path. And we're not in a position where we should steer somebody to do something that we want them to do. So I feel like you're coming to the realization that we can try to control, but ultimately it is wrong for us to overstep our boundaries or to kind of like manipulate a situation to get the outcome that we're looking for. Because when we're dealing with another person, we really cannot interfere with their free will. Okay. On the tail end of that, I'm feeling like many of you are really, really thinking heavily about situations in your life. So this is a spread that is very introspective. You're thinking about a decision in your life where you were so emotionally invested in another person and you wanted a specific outcome. And I feel like you might have wanted the other person to take a specific course of action. And you start to realize that, the more you push, the more that energetically they resist. They might not resist you outright. They might not tell you, you stay out of my business. But I feel like the more you try to control it, the more that it slips your fingers, the more that it slips through your fingers. So the best that you can do is, just sit there and wait for them to arrive at the best decision when they are ready. I see a lot of people who might have been parents or grandparents. And for those who are parents, especially for those who are single parents, okay? I'm sensing that, I don't know what it's like to be a parent. I don't have children, but I feel like a lot of us, when we have children, we see the children not for their biological age, but for the fact that they're always going to be children. We watch them grow up. We change their diapers. We feed them. We clothe them. We watch them when they're napping, when they're sleeping. So there's definitely this maternal, paternal, overprotective energy that is triggered within us, right? And so no matter how old the children get, they can be in their 30s, they could be in their 40s, they're always, in our eyes, they're always going to be our babies. And so even though they have really progressed, even though they've had a lot of education under their belt and a lot of life experience, we always see the children as somebody that needs protection. And so as parents, we might overstep our boundaries and we might try to control the choices that they make, the decisions that they make. And the more we try to control, the more it backfires. And so you're looking through almost like watching a movie reel of all the decisions that you've made in the past, especially as it pertains to people that you love. And you might have realized that, I controlled the situation a little bit too much. I should have done this, but instead I did this. I was too overprotective, and I made them do things that I thought was good for them, but in the greater scheme of things, it wasn't good for them because it didn't teach them about self-sufficiency. It didn't teach them about trusting that the choices that they make are the right choice, and I feel like it disallowed them from making their own choices and living with the consequences of their choices. And so you're really analyzing, what it means to really be a parent. How much do we try to control and how much do we try to relinquish control? Where's that middle ground? Okay. And, not only is this something that you're heavily thinking about when it comes to child rearing, when it comes to the people that you love in your life that are a little bit more vulnerable, that are a little bit younger than you, but I also feel the same mentality can be applied when it comes to the people that you truly, truly love. The Six of Cups is a soulmate connection. And this soulmate connection usually means like it's something that is a past life energy. There is a soul contract between two people to come together in this lifetime. And whenever I have this soulmate type of connection, it usually denotes it's like somebody that you're magnetically very, very drawn to. Okay. And, we all have experienced that soul connection with another person where they just enter our lives and we feel like we've already spent a lifetime with them. We know them in and out. They trigger us. There are certain emotional triggers that they bring into our lives. The emotional awareness, but also the triggers, the abandonment issues, the fears, the insecurities. And at its best, the soulmate connection can also denote a situation where you're with another person and you feel this overwhelming sense of calmness and serenity that you don't have with other connections in your life. Okay, so at its worst, it can trigger a lot of dormant emotions, but at its best, it gives us a sense of calmness, trust, and serenity. So I definitely feel for many of you, there is a soulmate connection that you have with another person. And I feel like the other person is somebody who's very, very spiritually evolved, okay? They are a nurturer, they're a caretaker, they have a very detached air about them, but they have a really beautiful, gentle heart and a very loving soul, and they really want what's best for you. For some of you, this could be a romantic partner. I do see that. And then for others of you, this could be somebody that is, I do see an age gap, and I do see like a generational rift where you see things from a different angle. You might be the one that is a little bit younger, whereas the other person's a little bit older, okay? So this is your energy here. We have here the Knight of Rods. This is the Knight of Wands. This is somebody who's almost like the Fool, okay? The imagery with the little baton resting on his shoulder. It's somebody who's very excitedly starting out on a new life. So they have a new lease on life. They're starting out on a new life. There's a lot of hopeful energy associated with this Knight. He's very passionate. He's very excited. He's very truthful. He's very adventurous. And so this is somebody who's very, very enthusiastic about being independent, about, you know, being able to live his life the way that he knows how. And you're dealing with a soulmate connection that is the High Priestess. And for some of you, this is an older person, okay? Somebody who might be about 40 years old, about 50 years old. And this is somebody who, I feel like that plant they're holding is you. They want to nurture you. They want to take care of you. They might be a little bit on the controlling side where they want you to do things a specific way. They might want to contain your energy and have you exclusively to themselves, not in a selfish way, but because they really, really love you. There's a lot here about exclusivity, and there's a lot here about this person wanting you all to themselves when, in fact, you are somebody who wants to explore your territory. You're not done living your life just yet, and you're not in a position where you're ready or you're willing to settle down just yet. And I feel like the other person is in a position where they do want to settle down. They do want to start a family potentially, and they really want to, you know, do that with you. But I feel like for many of you, you are definitely aware that you're not that person that the other person is looking for, that you might not be in a position to reciprocate and give them everything that they're looking for. So if this sounds like it's your situation, you have to be very truthful and honest, because I feel like there's a connection between you and another person that is very, very undeniable. Okay, it's really strong. It brings about a sense of inner peace and serenity that you could not find with another person. You feel it. You feel the sense of calmness washing over you, the sense of safety, familiarity when you interact with this person. And they sense it too. But I feel like this relationship is a little bit too, it's not enough for you. And if you can, you know, honestly admit that to yourself, this relationship is not enough for me. And make your choices accordingly so that you don't end up hurting this person. If you're not ready to be in a relationship with this person the way that they want you to be, you have to be truthful and honest with them so that they understand, so that they don't sit there and wait for you, so that if you enter into a union with them when you're not ready, you might end up feeling resentful. You might end up, breaking off the relationship and really hurting them. Or you might feel like over time that the relationship is not enough for you, where you might step out of the relationship. So I feel for many of you, you're at a major crossroads pertaining to a significant relationship where there is definitely a soulmate energy. Okay. The two of you have this really, really beautiful potential for a very beautiful union, but the timing right now is not just right. For some of you, you might be dealing with an earth sign. This is a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn, sun, moon, or rising. And then for others, I'm getting a Virgo energy, as well as a water sign, Pisces, Cancer, or a Scorpio. And I feel like the love is very, very undeniable. Like two people really caring about each other, wanting the best for each other. Because with this Six of Cups, it's a card about innocence. Okay, when children, when we're dealing with like that puppy love stage, children don't hold grudges. They don't keep scores. They can hold hands, during recess and be happy. So I feel like, two people wanting to bring their best to a relationship. Somebody is like, this is what I have to offer you. Whereas the other person, it's all like, I still want to live my life. I still want to explore. I still want to date around a little bit. I'm not ready. And if you can honestly admit to the other person, I really care about you, and I might even say I love you, but I'm just not at a point where I'm ready. And then for others of you, there's a lot of heartache here. We have the Three of Swords. And the Three of Swords in this deck, it deals with a situation. There's no blood coming out from the sword. Okay, so it's a situation that has been like this for quite some time. And we have here an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, or a Capricorn with the Five of Swords. This is somebody that has really, the thing about earth signs, I see a lot of coupling between Sagittarius people and earth sign people. Earth signs are very, very practical, okay? They're pragmatic. They do things. They don't sit there and talk about things. And I feel like for a lot of fire signs, you guys need a lot of declarations of love, okay? It doesn't even have, you don't even have to be a Leo. It could be like, any fire signs, like Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo. But it doesn't even have to be the Leo people, but you need a little bit of ego stroking. When you do something great, you want to receive a gold star. When you do something that you're very proud of, you want the other person to tell you, you're amazing, you're ingenious, I'm really proud of you. I am, you're very, very smart for having thought of that. Like, I feel like you need that validation. You need that ego stroking in a way. And you need that verbal affirmation of love. And I feel like this is a person that doesn't operate that way. The King of Pentacles values the things that he can see, he can touch, he can taste, okay? He lives in the physical world. And so compliments don't come easily to him. They don't come easily from him. He sees the proper value in situations. So when he makes a choice to be with somebody, it can usually be more of a calculating choice, okay? So for some of you, you have almost like an imprint of an earth sign in your life that has really caused a lot of pain, okay? That has like really done a lot of things over the years to really hurt you. This is, I want to say, for some of you, this is like a relationship partner that you always will remember. If they're already in the past, you will still always remember them because you care about them so much, but for whatever reason, there's a lot of heartache associated with this. For some of you, you could still be with this person. There has been a lot of arguments. There has been a lot of strife. There has been a lot of disappointment that this person has brought into your life. And I feel like they're showing you a side of yourself that you're not really comfortable seeing. You value your independence and almost like you value your independence. And I feel like this person, for whatever reason, made you realize that you needed their affirmation, you needed the confirmation of their love in a way where it runs counter to your independence. So I almost feel like they made you feel like, I'm not as independent as I thought. If I was as independent as I thought, if I were, very independent, what they think about me, what they say about me wouldn't even matter. But every time you interact with this person, I almost feel like you're not getting what you want out of this relationship. And so I definitely feel here there's an earth sign coming out of the picture. There's an earth sign that's dealing as well with a lot of heartache. concerning your behavior, the way that you behave towards them, your kind of like detachment towards them. I see many of you have moved away from them and or are actively moving away from them, trying to move away from them. So I feel like this person is trying to reach out, is trying to, they're looking back at their past too. It's not like, you know, they don't reflect on the past. They're looking back at the past and they're looking at their contributions to the downfall in this situation. I feel like it's somebody who lives with a lot of regret. And for whatever reason, they have a really hard time admitting that they made mistakes. They've had a really hard time admitting how their actions have contributed to the emotional rift between you and them. Okay, so I definitely feel there's somebody here that is mulling over their life choices and feeling like they have made some big mistakes when it comes to you, when it comes to the things that they have done, the things that they have said, and the decisions that they have made regarding you. The Three of Swords usually as well indicates a third party type of an interference. So I feel like they might have let other people get in between the relationship. And I feel for many of you, this might be family. They might have put their family first. They might have also put other situations first before you. And so you felt almost like second best in this relationship. And I feel like for many, many years, it really hurt your self-esteem to the point where your heart becomes a little bit callous, to the point where you try to downplay their importance in your life, okay? You really try your best to tell them that, oh, you don't mean a lot to me. And, you know, I can find another person like you. I'm not stuck on you. There's nothing here that indicates I can't walk away from you. And I feel like you might have used that kind of like to kind of throw it in their face, to let them know, to kind of like put them in their place, to let them know that they don't mean a lot to you. But I feel like there's a pain in this relationship that you both are carrying. They're suffering from the consequences of their actions. They didn't prioritize you. They didn't see the value in you. They didn't put you first. And then as a result of it, you know, when a fire sign has not been placed first, or when they have been chosen over by another person or passed over by another person, they're like, they turn cold, and they will do everything within their power to let the other person know, I don't need you. Okay. So I feel like there's a situation here where, the simple act of communication, honestly, I feel can resolve the situation between you and them, but I don't feel like anybody's really budging.